Who the fuck is this guy? Beard's gone. Yay. Um, yeah, so anyway, the reason I shaved all this off is I'm leaving the US. I don't actually live here. Anyway, I haven't for years, but I've been back for a few months to just lock down and write my book. Because I have a really great social life in Asia. It's easy to get distracted. and yeah, it's just time for me to go back home. So yeah, I'm leaving, and I wanted to not just make an announcement of like, oh, I'm going back to Asia. I want to make some observations that maybe some of y'all haven't noticed that much because it's kind of creeped up on you. No, for me, I came back to the U.S. a few times here and there over the past like 4 years, but this time especially, I really felt it financially, how much everything freaking costs and how everything's just been skyrocketing with inflation and whatnot. And I haven't talked about as much on my channel, but you're when you live abroad, it's kind of inflation proof, especially if you live in a country where the currency isn't trusted much. And as bad as the US dollar is doing, every other currency is doing just as bad, if not worse, because all of them had to start printing money and stuff. So the American dollar is still pretty strong against a lot of other currencies. Japan is one, especially in Asia. So Japan's one of them. Um, Vietnam is one of them. Thailand's one of them. I remember back in 2019, one US dollar would be equal 29 baht, Thai baht, and now one US dollar, it fluctuates, but the last time I was there was $38, and now I think it's like 36 or something. So it's a fluctuation. Huge fluctuation with the Japanese yen too, and the Vietnam dong is um, it's actually stayed pretty relatively stable. It used to be $1 was like 23,000 dom. Now it's 24,000. So if anything, the U.S. dollar has gained on it. It's just because it's not because the U.S. dollar is so great. It's not, but it's nobody trusts the Vietnamese currency, including Vietnam itself. It seems like. So one thing that can help you be a bit more inflation proof and not be affected by so much is living abroad, right? Using that sort of arbitrage to your advantage, or earning American dollars and then living off of um, earning American dollars and then converting it to the local currency. It's inflation proof. And also, if anything, the dollar, like I said, has gained despite all that type of stuff, right? So it's actually even cheaper now than ever over there. And I think it will probably be that way for the foreseeable future for most countries. Because again, America's effing up left and right, but technically, because it's the global reserve currency, um, it's still got a lot of power, and you have the American military behind it too to back up that power. So, yeah. So yeah, it's just the observation I made. I think every time I come back to the U.S., it just seems more and more unlivable financially, for one, but also it just seems less like, let's put the finance stuff aside. It's just one of the problems with America. I think it's just like almost an infrastructure thing. It's too big. So it's hard to have a sense of community when anything's so spread out. Like right now, I'm in the DFW area, and everything's so spread out. Like, you know, the concept of a neighbor doesn't really even exist almost. Like you could live in the same, like, sort of metropolitan area, and it'll take like 90 minutes to get to whoever you want to get to, right? You need to drive super fast to get there too. It's like, what's cool about places in Asia, most especially the expat communities, which is where you and I would be mostly staying at. I mean, unless you end up learning the language, is there's a mix of all these different people from these different countries, mostly Europe and the U.S., some South America, some Africa, but mostly Europe and the U.S. And everybody speaks English because English is the unofficial universal language. And most of these places are very walkable. And because they're very walkable, there's a sense of community. I saw this video from, I don't know who, someone on Instagram, and he talked about how like a lot of people miss universities. Like when they're older, they're like, "Oh, I miss college, I miss university." because even if they might technically be part of some community now in whatever city that they're living in, it's not. It's there's chances are it's not like a walkable community. The same way, like when you were in university, when you were in college, you could walk the campus, so there's more of a sense of like unity there. You felt like you had neighbors. You felt like you were part of something. And I noticed that it's a similar feeling living in these sort of expat areas. It's very specific cities, like some huge cities, they don't really have that much of an expat scene, or the expat areas sort of spread out. But most of the cities that I've been to do have sort of like an expat area, and it's easy to be a part of a community there. You play sports, you can play board games, you can date within that community. I did a lot of that in the past. Majority of girls that I've dated while living in Asia have actually been other Westerners. Of course, I've dated some locals too. My girlfriend now, she's from Vietnam. So yeah, it's just I want to make this announcement that one, also to tell you guys I'm not going to be posting for a few days because well, I'm going to be traveling and also in Asia. I actually filmed this video the same day as like the past few videos. I kind of batch them because I want to give myself some time to just acclimate to it, jet lag, whatnot, enjoy my friends, and reuniting with my girlfriend. Um, I'm bringing my brother with me this time, so showing him around, right? I want to give myself a few days to do that, and then come 2024, that's when I'm going to get cranking on the content again. Really help to show you guys the lifestyle and see how great life can actually be, and that you don't have to just live like a slave in the U.S. Because that's just sort of seems like it how it is now. I mean, I honestly don't know how you can survive or live normally or not live like a pauper without spending like or without making six figures a year. I just don't see how. I don't see how you can pay off your student loan debt, pay for your apartment, pay for a decent car insurance, health insurance, whatever insurance, all this other BS, unless you're making at least six figures. And I'm willing to bet most of you guys don't. So, and even if you are, you could live like a king in these other places and instead of here. There's one YouTube channel. He has a great catchphrase. His name is Nomad Capitalist, and he talks about these types of things. And he says his catchphrase is "Go where you're treated best." And you're not treated best in the U.S. anymore. Let's be honest, man. It's just that it feels tough or difficult to make a move, and also incomes are higher in the U.S. So, you know, that kind of keeps people there. Those gold chains, or dare I say, well, there's not gold chains. It's more like freaking like I don't know, copper chains. It's like worth more than nothing, but not really worth much. So your copper chains are keeping you tied to the U.S. So ideally, if you can, you want to try to work remotely. If you want, Asia is tough because it's far away and the time zones are different. But maybe you could try to negotiate with your company or whatever you work in the corporate world and go to South America. I have a few clients that started to do that. Um, and yeah, I'm getting that fat America, man. I think you should too. I talked about this a lot in the past few videos, and since I started posting on this channel regularly, but I'm going to be talking about it a lot more. Yeah, because this is called beyond self improvement, right? You look at circumstances outside of just the how, and I want to say the why. Why are you in the situation that you're in? Sometimes it's your fault, other times it's not. Regardless of what the situation is, it's in your power to choose your destiny of where you want to go and how you want it to play out, or give yourself a better odds of how it's going to play out. And so, going beyond self improvement and also involves putting yourself in the right environment to thrive. And so, for me, that's over in Southeast Asia, baby, for a myriad of reasons: better social life, better quality of living, uh, better standard of living overall, I should say, by the beach, super cheap and affordable, and able to focus on my passions and not worry about finances a ton because I'm not making multiple six figures to live normally over here and have a sense of community. It's like sometimes there's things. What's his name? Lieutenant Aldo Rain in Inglorious Bastards. He has this one part where he says, sometimes when something sounds too good to be true, it ain't. Meaning that there are some things that sound too good to be true and actually are true. And in my opinion, living abroad earning a Western income living abroad, that is one of those things. You just have to take the leap. So I'm gonna be talking about that more in the channel in the future. By the time you're watching this, I'm already chilling on a beach, playing beach volleyball with my friends and drinking good beer and having a good time. uh, and going on motorcycle trips and stuff. And yeah, so I don't mean to brag, but I want to show you guys what that life is and the fact that it's pretty easy to live this lifestyle. It really is. It's not that difficult. So yeah, well, have a great rest of your 2024. Sorry, 2023. And let's have a great 2024. I really want to grow this channel and I really appreciate every single one of you guys who have subscribed to this channel. I think at this point, it's close to 500 subscribers, which is really cool. My goal for January is to try to get the channel to 1,000 subscribers and get the channel monetized. I think that'd be pretty cool. Yeah. So it'd be nice to earn a little bit of extra income from these videos, you know? I love this stuff. I do it for free, but you got to pay the bill. So, okay. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Here's to 2023, and let's have a great 2024. All right. Have a good one.